here came about as a mixture of a bunch of different things. Taking Greyhound buses when I was a little bit too young to do it, but I left my house and did it anyway. And this is what I found. I like to take Greyhound buses alone, because then I'm always in between where I'm coming from and where I'm going. And there are moments when you view the world from a window and you're at an odd standstill where everything is still waking up. When I was 15, I handed over 20 bucks at a bus station. Running away, I shrugged my backpack onto my shoulder, and I mounted the stairs and got lost in another world. A voyeur of nature, I spied its crevices, the sun crawling over the edge of the world and up into the sky. I learned that everything has something to climb. I yearned, but I didn't know what for, so I bought tickets and made more trips for love, some taking me 9 hours south to the Northern California redwoods, the hippie havens, the farmlands. I sat until I couldn't feel my legs, until we poured out of the bus at 3 a.m. gas stations to breathe in clouds of air and shuffle our feet and wait for the driver to take us into the night. Who was I to feel so free? Who was I to overlook the opportunity handed to me at my birth, the color of my skin allowing me to move around with such privilege on this earth, feel no pain, feel no fear? There is a song that goes, "This is your land. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me." So I gotta ask, why can't people find that tree, the one they talk about covered in green? Not leaves, but currency. It seems quite funny. What would it take for us to give up money to be completely free of greed? But now we are moving at such technological speeds. People all over go to sleep, asking if things will ever stop so we can listen to those in need. And I am guilty of asking, if we stop, what's in it for me? The answer came so trivial as it was another question. What can I give so another can live? See, we're all standing on a ladder, and there's some who have a tongue but are silenced based on the rung on which they were born. And the song continues and continues. In the shadow of the steeple, I saw my people. By the relief office, I seen my people. As they stood there hungry, I stood there asking, is this land made for you and me? Well, who am I to feel so free, grabbing at these manly bootstraps that apparently never break? But the product you bought yesterday just broke, so you threw it into the pile of garbage that builds, making some parts of the world choke in smoke. Nothing's for free anymore, but we have to buy our freedom. We live in temporary pleasure, building things weaker, some foundations like education becoming manufactured, textbook. In a world where lives are measured in tests, how many questions have you memorized just to forget the skills that those things provided? We are a country now divided by stereotypes and blame. Blinded by the easy ways out and the fame, the blood spilled is always justified by a claim, and often there is money in the game. Tell me if this land is yours. If you've had to walk around knocking on doors, asking people how their day was while they were busy fighting all forms of oppression, let's all take a lesson in defending lives. Privilege is never having to think about it. Our wealth determines our worth from birth. In a society where contributions are measured in capital, that can't be all. We ignore the angle of interlocking oppressions, gender, race, ability, overlooking how dependence can create intimacy. So let's replace what we normally do with money with a relationship with the people around us. Thus, I'm living here in a state where, because they've been unable to pass policies and laws, it supports me being viewed as a second-class citizen, not deserving of the same protections as someone else because I am transgender, a member of society for whom the government is no defender. When I flick on the TV, I consistently hear a word that defines me, used as a justification to murder in New York City. I used to think that I could solve all my problems with masculinity. If I could only be a man, then I'd solve more than my identity. My body is a Rubik's Cube of infinity. Some people just can't get all the colors to work in their favor, twisting the building blocks of gender norms, trying to conform. But I've learned not everything can be solved by growing a pair. The manager of the company who let me go because my paperwork didn't match did not care when he took my badge. My validity as a human is based on how much surgery I've had. And when I date people, I have to wonder if they aren't just looking to satisfy a curiosity, a kink, or a fad. Having my gender as an option on a form is not the norm, so I just put male, and then worry about being placed in a sex-segregated detention center, holding facility, or jail. Ignoring my history that's made it important for me to stand up for the rights of all people. When I leave this school in the public, I face a test, using public restrooms with the fear of verbal abuse, physical intimidation, or arrest. Strangers assuming that they can ask me what my genitals look like and how I have sex, but regardless of how I felt, based on my knowledge of oppression, I knew that I would continue to transition because of overwhelming depression, so I'm coming to terms with what it means to be a man. We're all born 1 in 6.6 billion or so, given one chance to live one life, and on the average we have 77.5 years to get it right, and I have to make up for everything if I can. what it is to be a man. I want to be weak sometimes. I want to cry if I feel like crying, and I want to ask for help, and I want to feel powerful without physical power, and I want to be justified in who I am. So together, let's get back on that Greyhound bus so we can watch the world wake up and fall asleep on its own without a loan from a government that doesn't want to believe some of us exist. Because nature functions just fine without drawing lines. I haven't found that money tree, but I hope one day it won't have to be the answer to all of our problems, because we'll meet everyone's basic needs. Treat people from every background, class status, and creed with dignity and respect. Support the development of all people's full potential. Reduce the vast differences in income, wealth, and access to resources, and ensure everyone has a voice in the decisions that affect them. If I were to meet my soul, it would probably be naked, and I would shake hands with it feeling slightly uncomfortable. So I ask you, what would your soul look like? Is it your beating heart? Is it a ray of light? Does it travel only at night on Greyhound buses, nowhere near the overwhelming possession of power that perpetuates fear?